Thank you for attending Cisco phone training at Westchester University. This is a list of the content that we will be covering in today's video training. So first let's talk about what is not changing. Your telephone number is not changing. It will stay the same. Dialing procedures are not changing. You will still be able to 4-digit dial any campus extension. You will still need to dial 8+1 to get an outside line. We will be bringing the Graduate Center onto this same Cisco phone system, so when we have that complete, you will also be able to 4-digit dial any staff member at the Graduate Center. Voicemail is not changing. You will not need to re-record your voicemail greeting. The access number remains the same, 2232 for on-campus, 610-436-2232, followed by the # sign for off-campus access. Auto attendant recordings are not changing, and what we mean by auto attendant recordings is, press 1 for this menu item, press 2 for whatever. So that's what we mean by auto attendant recordings. What is changing? Your telephone set obviously is changing. Your ringtone, you will have the capability to change your ringtone if you so desire. We have something new called Corporate Directory. We are offering Cisco Jabber, which is the mobility piece that allows you to place and receive calls and instant message, all using your campus telephone extension. Cisco Self-Care Portal, we'll talk about that in a little bit, and call center functionality. Also, as part of this project, we are updating each of the call centers: admissions, registrar, financial aid, bursar, the graduate school. We're updating their call centers, giving them increased functionality and increased reporting capabilities. This is the Cisco 8851 telephone set. When we deploy phones to your area, we will leave a copy of a quick start guide on your desk, which will just describe some basic functionality of the phone, so you'll be able to start using your phone right away without any difficulty. Okay, so line buttons. What we refer to as line buttons are the buttons along the right-hand side of your telephone display. If you are on a call, they're down at the bottom, green, steady. That button will be lit with a steady green indicator light. If you have a call on hold, it will be a green flashing light, and so on, with amber and red both steady and flashing having different meanings. To the left of the number keypad on your telephone set, there is a group of 3 buttons. The one that looks like a gear icon is your applications button, which takes you to a settings menu. The icon that looks like an open book, you can think of it as an open phone book, will take you to directories, both personal and corporate directories. And then the one that looks like a cassette tape is a button that you can push, and it will automatically dial 2232 and take you to your voicemail box. It will prompt you for your security code. To the right-hand side of the number keypad on your telephone set is a group of buttons for transfer, hold, and conference. The button with the arrow pointing towards one person is transfer. The button that looks like a pause button on a video is hold. And then the button with 3 people is your conference button. So there's also the volume toggle button. We'll talk about that functionality a little bit later in the presentation. And then to the right of the number keypad, there's another group of 3 buttons for speakerphone, mute, and headset. And the mute button, the picture of the microphone with the slash through it, will illuminate bright red if your phone is on mute. You will also notice immediately under the telephone display, there's a round button that is referred to as the navigation cluster. The exterior rim of that button is touch sensitive. You can use it to toggle up, down, left, or right. And then the center silver piece of that navigation cluster is what you would use to push and select a certain selection on your screen. To the right of the navigation cluster, there is a button with a red receiver, which is basically the button you would use as one way to end a call. The left back arrow button to the left of the navigation cluster is exactly what it says. It's back or exit. So if you are in if you are on a menu on your display, you can just keep hitting that back button to get back to the main telephone display, which is the picture of Rammy. So we've talked about all of the keys on the phone set itself, but we also need to mention that these phones are what we would call soft key driven. So you'll notice at the bottom of your display, there's a black line with words written along that line, and then underneath each of those words, there is a button that you can push, and it will perform the function that is written above it on the screen above it. So the soft keys change depending on what you're doing at the moment, whether your phone is idle or if you're on an active call or if you're on a conference call. It just depends what state your phone is in at that moment. There will be different soft key options. So to the very right of that row of soft keys, you will see either 2 dots or 3 dots. So that is basically telling you that there are additional menus hidden behind that first series of menus. So you can push that button with the dots and it'll take you to another set of menus. And then you can just keep pushing it to toggle between the menus. Make a call. So there are several different ways to initiate a call on these telephone sets. You can just lift the handset like you normally would, dial your 4-digit extension, or put the 8 and +1 in front of it for an outside number. You can also go up to the right of your telephone display, press the line key. It will automatically select the speakerphone, and you can dial the number. If you're using a headset, again, you can just press the headset button and dial the number. You can just press the speaker button and dial the number. You can also do something that we refer to as pre-dial. So you can dial the number on your keypad, then either hit the speakerphone button or your headset button or lift the receiver and it will automatically dial the number. If you make a mistake when you're typing in the number from the keypad, there is a soft key that looks like, you know, the backspace correction button. So you can hit that and to backspace and correct the number if you have mistyped it. And then there's also going to be on your soft key options a choice to call or new call, I believe it says. So there's a number of ways to initiate a call. Last number, redial. So on the soft key menu at the bottom of your telephone display, there is an option called Redial. And if you hit that button, your phone will automatically redial whatever phone number you most recently dialed from your telephone set. Answer a call. Again, there's a number of ways to do this. Just pick up the handset, press the speakerphone button, press the headset button if you're wearing a headset, or there's going to be a soft key option when your phone is ringing, and it will say answer, decline, or ignore. You can press the answer key. It will automatically connect you to the caller. Please do not choose decline. That feature is not working properly at the moment. You may also choose ignore, which is going to silence the ringer of your phone, and after it has rung 5 times silently, the caller will be sent to your voicemail box. Put a call on hold. So when you place a call on hold, and we just reviewed which button that was, it's the button on your phone that looks like a pause button on a video. When you're on an active call, you're also going to see a soft key labeled hold. You can also hit that button. So one of the questions that comes up regularly is, so I have somebody on hold, how do I get back into that call? So there are a number of ways to do that. You can press the hold button again. You can press the flashing green line key to get back into the call. There's also going to be a soft key option when you have a call on hold that says resume. So you can just push that button underneath the word resume and you'll be reconnected. Just remember that hanging up the handset will not disconnect the call if it's on hold. You have to go back into that call to make it active again to hang up and end the call. End the call. If you're using the handset, simply hang up the handset. If you're using a headset, press the headset button. If you're using a speakerphone, press the speakerphone button to end the call. And again, there's always a soft key option. Just press the button underneath the soft key labeled End Call. View your recent calls. So there is a shortcut button to the right of your telephone display, usually just underneath your line key button. If you have missed calls, there's going to be a square on the screen that's illuminated red to indicate that you have missed calls. If it's not illuminated red, then it's a white square that looks like a clock on it. So that is your call history button. So if you go ahead and push that button, you will notice at the top of the display, it's going to say missed calls, and it's listing all of your missed calls. If you go down to the bottom of the display, there's going to be a soft key that says all calls. If you hit that soft key button, the list of calls will change to all calls, which means calls that you've placed, as well as calls that you've missed, or calls that you've answered. So it's going to display them all. You can dial from call history. So if you're in your list of calls, you can use the navigation cluster to scroll down and select the call, one of the calls. You can then just push the center of the navigation cluster to select it. You can hit the call soft key, or you can just pick up the receiver. It's automatically going to dial that number. So if it's from an outside party, a cell phone or whatever, you will need to add the 8 and 1 in front of it to return that call. So there's a really easy way to do this. So if you hit the soft key with the 2 dots, the more option, it'll take you to another set of soft key menu buttons, and there should be one entitled Edit Dial. Hit that button, and then it will automatically put your cursor in front of the phone number, and you can just dial 81 and then pick up your receiver or hit your speakerphone button, and it will dial the call with the 81 in front of it. You can also view details for any of your call history selections. So just highlight one of your calls, and then there's going to be, if you go to the second page of soft key options, there's going to be a soft key option labeled details. Just go ahead and press that button, and you will be able to see the time of the call, the length of the call, that kind of thing. If you have more than one line on your phone, you will be able to see calls per phone number. You can delete any individual call record from the call history list. You can completely clear the call history list by selecting Clear List. But this isn't a list that you need to maintain. It will hold approximately 150 registries in the list, and they will just age out. They will just drop off the bottom. So please don't feel like it is a list that you need to maintain and clear every day. Transfer a call. So transferring a call on the new Cisco telephone system really works exactly the same way as the Avaya Nortel system did. So you can transfer a call to an internal or an external number. And I always describe this as an Oreo cookie, because like an Oreo cookie, you have your first chocolate cookie. That's the transfer button that you would hit once. Then you have the white stuffing, and that's the phone number that you are transferring the call to, and then in order to complete the transfer, you have to put that second chocolate cookie on the bottom, and that's hitting the transfer button for a second time. If you do not hit the transfer button for a second time, you're cutting the caller off, and they'll just get dial tone. So while you're on an active call, you can press the transfer button. Remember, it's the button with the arrow pointing towards one person, or there's going to be a soft key label on your display that says transfer. Just push the button underneath the word transfer. Then you're going to dial the number. Remember to dial 8+1 in front for an external phone number. And then when the dialed numbers rings, you can either immediately press the transfer button again to connect the call to the target person, or you can talk to the target person first and tell them who's on the line, and then press the transfer button to complete the transfer. If the person does not want to take the call, is unavailable for whatever reason, we often have the question like, so how do I get back into that call without cutting the person off? So there are a number of ways to do that. You can go up and press the green flashing line key, and you'll be put back in on the line with that person. There's also going to be, I believe, on your soft key menu, the option to resume the call. So there's a number of ways to get back into that call. So let's say you wanted to transfer the call to somebody, they couldn't take the call, and you can offer that person then the option to transfer to voicemail. So that's what we will cover on the next slide. Transfer to voicemail. This is a great option and so easy to use. So it's just like transferring a call. So you're going to press the transfer button, and then you're going to dial the phone number, the 4-digit extension of the person that you want to transfer the call to, only you're going to put an asterisk in front of it. So you'll find that on your number keypad. So you're going to hit transfer, asterisk, the 4-digit extension, and then transfer again. And be sure to hit that transfer button immediately after you put the 4-digit extension in so that the caller doesn't miss any of the person's voicemail message, because it's not going to ring. It's just going to go immediately to the person's voicemail message. Add another person to a call or conferencing. Again, it works exactly the same as the Avaya Nortel system. You are able to conference up to 6 people, including yourself, on a conference call. We definitely suggest that you use Zoom just because it's easier to use, but you definitely can conference using these phones, and most likely it would be for something that's not planned, like if you were on the phone with somebody and you needed to check some information, you could add a third person onto your call pretty quickly and easily. So you're just going to hit the conference button, dial the extension number. When the person answers, just ask them if they're available to conference in with you and whoever the other person is, and then press the conference button a second time, and you will have connected all parties. And just continue to do that until all parties have been added, a maximum of 6, including yourself. There are some neat details, features available with conferencing on the Cisco phones. While you're on the call, you can press the More button, the dot button, soft key, and you can, until you find a soft key that is labeled Show Details, you can push the Show Details button. You can see all the participants on that call. And then the person who initiated the conference call is also able to highlight a name from the participant list, and they have a soft key labeled Remove, so they can remove any one person from the conference call at any time. Another thing we like to mention also is that if you initiate the conference call, you, as the originator of the conference call, do not need to stay on the call. You can drop off the call and the other callers will remain connected until they hang up. Mute your audio. So when you place a call on mute, you can still hear the caller, but they cannot hear you. So to mute a call, you just press the mute button, which is the button with a picture of a microphone with a slash through it. When you push that button, the microphone will illuminate bright red, so it'll be really obvious that you are on mute. So to disengage the mute function, you just press the mute button again to unmute. Listen to your voice messages. On your telephone set, to the left of the number keypad, there is a button that looks like a cassette tape. If you press that button, it will immediately dial the Westchester University voicemail system, and you will be prompted to enter your security code. So you can just press that button instead of dialing 2232. Forward all calls. So this is a great option if, for instance, you're working on something and you just need to concentrate and you don't want to take any calls. So you can forward your calls to another extension, or you can forward your calls directly to your voicemail. So when your phone is forwarded, it will not ring with any incoming calls. So there is a soft key button labeled forward all. So you would just hit that button and then type in the 4-digit extension that you're forwarding your calls to. You can forward to an external phone number. We really recommend, instead of doing that, that you would use the Cisco Jabber mobility piece. And we'll get into that in a little bit. When you're forwarded, you will see the forwarding phone number on your display. So the person that you forward your line to will not know that you have forwarded your calls to them. So it would be courtesy to just get their buy-in before you forward your calls to that person. And then when you come back and you want to resume taking calls, there will be a soft key button on your phone display that says forward off. So you just press the forward off button to cancel call forward. And one note that we would say is so that if you forward your line to someone else and that person isn't available to answer the call, it will ring and then ultimately go back to your voicemail box. So you won't miss any calls. It's not going to go to the other person's voicemail box. Do not disturb. This is similar to forward all calls, but different. So one scenario I can suggest for when you might use this is if you're working in your office trying to get something done, but there's that one call you don't want to miss. So you're kind of like screening your calls. So you can press the dots, the 2 dots on your soft key to get to the next page of soft key options. And then there's going to be an option there called Do Not Disturb. And if you push that, there will be a big red banner come across your screen, and it will say you are in Do Not Disturb mode. And so then if a call comes into your phone, if you receive a call, there's going to be one very soft beep. You're going to see a banner on your phone, and it's going to tell you who's calling, and it's going to say answer, decline, and ignore. So again, please do not hit decline. You can hit ignore, but you really don't need to do any of those because you can just ignore the call and it's only going to beep you that one time. So you can just kind of look at your display, see who it is, and then get back to what you're doing. So then when you're finished that and you want to resume taking calls, there's going to be a soft key option, probably on the second page of soft key menus, that says turn off DND, turn off Do Not Disturb. So just press that button and your Do Not Disturb feature will be canceled. Adjust the volume. So on your phone there is a volume toggle bar, I guess I would call it. So when you are on a call, you can use that volume adjustment button to increase or decrease the volume that you are hearing the other person's voice through your receiver or your speakerphone. So if your phone is not in use, but you have a call ringing in, you can press that button up and down to raise and lower the volume of your ringtone. change the ringtone. So in the group of buttons to the left of your keypad on the phone set is a button that looks like a gear or settings button. That's your applications button. So go ahead and press that button. You're going to see on your telephone display a series of options to choose. You want to use your navigation cluster to toggle to settings, then press the center button to select settings. And the very first option is ringtone. So press the center button of your navigation cluster to select ringtone. And then you can scroll through and listen to the various ringtones that are available. You can press play to hear a sample. And then once you've chosen which ringtone you want, you can press set and apply to save your selection. When we deploy phones as part of this project, we are setting every phone to the ringtone called Chirp 1, and we chose this ringtone because of this feature. An incoming call from a campus extension will chirp once. An incoming call from an off-campus phone number will chirp twice. So we thought that that was a great feature, but you're welcome to change your ringtone, and you can also select a different ringtone for each phone line, each phone number that's ringing in on your phone, which might be useful in some situations. So another option in the phone settings is the ability to change your screen brightness. So also in the phone setting menu, there is the option to change the font size. You can choose between regular, large, and huge. Lower your voice alert. So this is something that you can disable, but this lower your voice alert will beep it once in your ear, and then this image will come across your screen and saying, that's a bit loud. You might want to consider lowering your voice. So if you want to disable that feature, if it's annoying to you, simply go into your settings and scroll down until you see the setting for lower your voice alert, and just toggle that setting to off. Mark a call as spam. There is a feature on these phones that allows you to mark a call as spam. There's two choices when you go into the mark as spam feature. You can mark it as a fraudulent call, and that rejects any future calls from that number. It blocks the number, and the person will just get a busy signal. You can also mark it as a telemarketer call. So these calls are going to continue to ring on your phone, but there will be a banner telling you that it is a telemarketer, so you can just ignore the call. So once you can mark a call either as you're on that phone call. If you finish the call, you can go into your call history button, choose any one of those numbers in your call history button, and then flag it as a spam call. So if you were to mark a number accidentally as spam, which I don't think you would ever do, but let's just say you did, you can view your spam call list from the settings menu. So you would push your applications button, then choose settings, and then scroll all the way down, and I think it's referred to as spam call list. And you can have up to 150 listings in your spam call list. So you can just choose any one of those, and you can mark it. You can clear the spam marking on any one of those. Corporate directory. So on your phone, there is a button to the left of your keypad that looks like an open phone book. If you press that button, you will see two choices. The top one is personal directory. The second one is corporate directory. Go ahead and press the selection for corporate directory. You can search by first name, last name, or extension number. So when you're entering that, don't feel like you have to type in the person's whole name. Just type in the first 2 or 3 characters. And this operates like an old QWERTY keyboard on a flip phone. So, for instance, to get the letter C, you have to push the number 2 button 3 times. So just so you're aware of that. So just enter the first 2 or 3 numbers, then press the search button. It'll bring you up a list of choices. Then you can highlight the person that you want. If you pick up your receiver, it's automatically going to dial that number. If you hit your speakerphone, it's automatically going to dial whoever you have selected on there. Personal directory. You have the option to create a personal directory through the phone contact section in the self-care portal. You see the link on the screen there. So you can just navigate to that, sign in through single sign-on using your Westchester University email and password. The first thing you want to do when you go to the self-care portal, if you intend to use personal directory, is to go under General Settings and scroll down and choose a PIN. It says it can be 1 to 128 characters. So just set your PIN, make a note of it. If you forget it, you can just log back into the self-care portal and change it. And then you want to go back to the phone settings section, and you will see something called phone contacts. You can click on that, go in and add a contact, so you can set up your phone contacts that way. Just remember, if it's an outside number outside the university, to program the 8+1 in front of the number, save the contact, and you're done. And so then when you go to your phone and hit that directories button, the one that looks like the open phone book, and you choose personal directory, the very first time that you go to access your personal directory, you will be prompted for your user ID, which is your 4-digit, it's not your 4-digit extension, it's your Westchester University email, the complete email address, all caps. So, and again, it's going to go in as a QWERTY keyboard. So it's not easy, it's time consuming, it's tedious, but the good news is you only have to enter that once. So your Westchester University email address in all caps, and then your PIN number, which you just set in the self-care portal. And then you will be able to access your phone contacts that you just entered in the self-care portal. Pair a Bluetooth headset. So on the project website, wcupa.edu/Ramphone, we have posted a list of compatible headsets with this phone system. So if you have a Bluetooth headset, and the one that we're recommending for remote mobile use is the Voyager Plantronics 5200, you can order the headset yourself. Just make sure that you order exactly the part number that's listed on the website. So first you would put your Bluetooth headset into discoverable mode, and then on your Cisco phone you're going to press the applications button. It looks like a gear to the left of your number keypad. Then you're going to, on your display, use the navigation cluster to toggle over to the setting for Bluetooth. You're going to scroll down and select Add Bluetooth Device, and then once the phone sees your Bluetooth headset in discovery mode, select it, and then click Pair. Cisco Jabber Mobility allows you to collaborate using your computer or your mobile phone. You can instant message and chat with other Jabber users. You can also use Cisco Jabber Mobility as a soft phone, meaning you can receive and place calls to your Windows PC or your smartphone from your Westchester University extension. So all calls placed through the Cisco Jabber app will be presented to the caller as coming from your Westchester University telephone number. You can download the Jabber client at the project website, wcpa.edu/Ramphone. We are also pushing the Jabber client out to University PC, so it may already be in your list of programs. So have a look for that first. It's going to be under C for Cisco if you're running Windows 10. So you can also download the app on your iPhone just by going to the App Store, then on Android device through the Google Play Store. So once you're in Cisco Jabber, you can, a really neat feature of this also is what we call presence. So you can look at your list of contacts in Cisco Jabber, and it's all integrated with Microsoft Exchange and Active Directory. So and the calendar, Microsoft Exchange calendar. So you can see if your contacts are on a call. So it's actually reading whether they're on their Cisco telephone. You can see if they're available on Jabber. It's going to show you a picture of their cell phone. It will also tell you if they're in a meeting. So it's looking at their calendar, telling you that they're in a meeting. And you can go in and adjust your status to say that you're in a meeting, you're busy. I also created a custom status on my Cisco Jabber to say that I'm working remotely. So it's really, really useful. So if you need any assistance with that, just put a ticket in through the ServiceNow portal, and we'll be happy to assist you with getting set up with Cisco Jabber Mobility. The Cisco Self-Care portal we were already looking at when we were talking about personal directory. One thing in addition that I would mention is through the Cisco Self-Care portal, you can also program speed dials. Speed dial buttons are limited, however, to the number of free keys you have on the left-hand side of your telephone display. So again, you can just go into the Self-Care portal, go into phone settings, and you can program your speed dial buttons through the Cisco Self-Care portal. Thank you for attending the Cisco phone training session. If you have any questions or need additional user resource information, please visit our website, wcpa.edu/Ramphone.